So like I promised, I am sitting down and doing a domestic girlfriend video, talking about my thoughts on the manga. In this video, to clarify, I'm going to be talking about chapters 1 through chapters 50, because I felt like that's a good amount to talk about. That's a good chunk, so kind of like review chapters 1 through 50, to chapters 51 to 100, to 101 to 150, you get the point. You know, I wanted to talk about the series in segments and kind of look at how my thoughts of the series change, evolve, or stay consistent as I continue to move through the actual manga. Now, how I actually managed to read the manga, I went through Kindle, by the way, and actually it was a really enjoyable, reading it through Kindle, etc., because I couldn't really find me a physical copy to pick up, because the series has kind of been over for a few years now, so because of that, I wasn't able to really find one. So anyways, getting right into it, Domestic Girlfriend. I have heard so much about this series, because as you know, a few days ago, I made a video talking about Domestic Girlfriend's, the actual series. One of my friends told me, like, hey, you should sit down, you should, read Domestic Girlfriend. It's a good series, and regardless if the intent of my friend was to troll me or not, because of the overall reaction just to that, I was like, you know what, fine, I'm gonna sit down, dedicate some time, read the series, and here I am right now, talking about it. Now, I'm not gonna act like I haven't heard about the dumpster fire that Domestic Girlfriend becomes. I have heard it completely, that apparently the ending of Domestic Girlfriend is absolutely garbage. I have heard that apparently some character won, which has led to some of the individual complaints of the series. Now, I don't know who won, okay? I do want to clarify, I have not been spoiled on that, but I'm going to assume it's a mixture of things. Probably some way drama is handled to who the main character ends up with. Those type of things get rather messy in a story like Domestic Girlfriend. I mean, it is pretty much like a rom-com series, or not really a rom-com, like a drama, romance, back and forth, just fighting for the character. I wouldn't necessarily call it a harem either. You know what I mean. But pretty much, the series overall, obviously, there's a lot of people that complain about it. And anyone that comes in and is like, the series is bad, is probably thinking about the overall ending of Domestic Girlfriend. Now, as someone that doesn't know how it ends, as someone that has only watched the anime, and have now pretty much read the manga, I'm gonna say right now that, the series ain't that bad. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. I know many probably wanted to tune into this video and hear me just ranting, maybe, or tearing down Domestic Girlfriend, but in reality, chapters 1 through 50, it's a good read. It's a really solid read. Now, obviously, things can change. I highly doubt the series was bad until maybe a certain point in people's eyes, probably around chapter 200 something, I'm going to assume. So because of that, it's probably going to be a very steady ride, a quality ride, and something that's going to make me be like, man, this is freaking good. And as I've already said in this video, I actually like the first 50 chapters I have read. It is so much better than the anime. Like, I want to take a few moments to talk about that. The overall presentation of Domestic Girlfriend, like, the manga, the first 50 chapters I've read, is just so much better than the anime. It's night and day. It is literally night and day in comparison to, and I remember when I did my, anime reviews for Domestic Girlfriend, and I remember people complaining about the anime, saying that there was cut content, characters removed, etc., and all that, and now, seeing it from myself, I understand why a lot of people were complaining around the time when the anime was coming out. However, I will say, since I've been, reading the series and people were talking about the opening song of the anime, I did go back and listen to the opening of Domestic Girlfriend, and my goodness, that is a really good banger of an opening. But, to get back on topic, though, pretty much when it comes to the manga, the presentation, like I said, is just so much better, and even as an advertisement, like the anime, being like an advertisement for the manga, I don't even think the anime does a good job in advertising what you're really getting into when you actually read the manga. One of the big things that stood out to me when I was actually reading Domestic Girlfriend was the amount of uncensored content. Like, legit, I was in shock. I did not expect that much uncensored content throughout the first 50 chapters, even the special side chapters, etc. Yes, I even read those, I'm in shock. I did not think the series went that far with some of its content, and I was just like, okay. I mean, once again, night and day. It really goes to show how an anime and how it's done can really affect a series and get more people to either read the manga or even avoid the manga completely. Sometimes a bad anime adaptation could do the exact opposite for a series. It could cause people to just not even want to read the said series. And so that is some food for thought. Maybe a future video and later on, maybe talking about maybe series that's been done to before. But let's talk about the chapters. So obviously the main discussion I think people are going to have is my thoughts on Hina, my thoughts on Rui, Natsuo's characters, and just how they're presented in the manga, and probably who my favorite female character is. I'm willing to bet you that's what many of you are probably wondering. And if I had to say so far, I really like the writing of Hina. Like, I just want to say that before I go any further. I'm not saying she's my favorite female character. I'm just saying, in terms of the writing so far, from, like I said, what I've read, Hina's character writing is very good. Like, regardless of how toxic she is, how bad she is for Natsuo as a partner, everything about that, Hina is a very well-written character. It is very well-written, in fact. The entire story so far is very well-written. And regardless of your personal feelings towards maybe the ending of the series, I understand the gripes there. I understand that an ending of a series can really affect your opinion on the entire journey, because it makes you wonder, like, what was the point? But at least for me, coming into the manga new, fresh, 1 through 50, I really like Hina's writing. It's consistent. It's really in-depth, and it brings a different level of maturity that you don't normally see in romance manga, such as this. I was blown away, honestly, by Hina's character. I already liked Hina's character in the anime. Like, if you go back to my anime reviews, you'll see me kind of talking about Hina like she's toxic, she's bad, but at the same time, she's a very well-written character, and my thoughts pretty much stay consistent with that. Hina's overall portrayal as a character is really good, because she is super, super toxic for Natsuo, and I guess let's dive into that. So, Hina, she is someone that obviously only wants to be with adults, etc., but she plays these mind games with Natsuo throughout the first 50 chapters. She has an affair, she's with Shu, and all these other things, and, she acts like she's gonna break up, and all these type of things, and there's things about her character that is just, she likes to lead Natsuo on a chase. She constantly wants Natsuo to kind of chase after her. That is my impression I get from her when I was reading it, because it's like she is, enjoying the chase. Like, she enjoys people chasing after her, but if Natsuo was to, let's say, turn his attention away from her towards Rui, she gets upset about that, and she wants to drag Natsuo back to chasing her. But if Natsuo's attention shifts away from her and shifts to chasing after Rui or wanting to be with Rui, her overall focus changes. She now tries to actively go after Natsuo and try to get his attention. And I feel like it's a bit of jealousy and taboo and her wanting to just continuously have Natsuo for herself. Like, she wants her cake and eat it. Like, she wants to be able to eat the cake and just take the cake and whatever. That's what she wants. But I don't think in reality, at least from what I've seen from her so far, I know she cares about Natsuo. It is clear she cares about him, but I don't think that she really cares, like in a romantic sort of way. She more wants the taboo nature of it, and also, like I said, the chase. That is, like I said, the impression I get from her character. Very well written. I love Hina's character. Now, as Rui, as a character, Rui is an interesting one, because she comes off as very stoic, or not really stoic, more of just like I think the term is kuderi, the ice-cold princess, the ice-cold, snow queen or whatever, that's supposed to seem very cold-hearted or whatever, but in reality, when you get down to the nitty-gritty, they're very kind-hearted, sweet, and they open up to you. That's what Rui is as a person. She's someone that has issues with communicating with others, issues with really telling how she feels in a nice way. She says things very blunt, honestly, but she goes about it in the wrong way that kind of turns people away from her, to not want to be her friend, etc. And you learn about this, early on in the series, but when you look at her character, it's clear that she definitely cares about Natsuo. She cares about her sister, and there's a lot of complicated emotions going on there, and I feel like thanks to Natsuo and her having the first time together, losing their virginity with each other, it resulted in her having more complex feelings towards Natsuo, and I feel like she's 100%, she's like in love with Natsuo. I think she truly does care about him, and it's the exact opposite I get from Hina. Like I just talked about when I was dissecting Hina. Hina as a character, I feel like she doesn't really love, Natsuo. I feel like she just wants him to chase her. And I feel like Rui's not like that. I feel like Rui truly wants a relationship with him and truly wants to be with him. That's the impression, but she just doesn't know how to express it properly. But overall, in terms of who I think should win, I think Rui should win. At least from what I've seen so far. But there is a few things to talk about, and that is the fact that Hina is, and it needs to be said, is Natsuo's first crush. That is something that is very important. I feel like people overlook maybe when they got to this point of the story, or maybe later on in the story. But at the end of the day, your first crush is very important. When you fall for someone and your first love is there constantly in front of your face, you're not going to be able to forget about them. You're not going to be able to easily move on. And this gets into the topic I just talked about, is that Hina always wants Natsuo to chase her. So he never can forget about Hina because she's constantly reminding him personally that she is there. So that is something to talk about, is that I feel like Hina knows this. She knows her status. She knows what she's doing. She's doing it purposely. And I feel like Natsuo is being led astray, pretty much getting in a toxic relationship with Hina. That's my 2 cents on the matter. Now, for Shu as a character, I don't like that man. Like, I legitimately don't like Shu. Like, obviously he's a well-written character as well, but I don't like how he's just, everything about him. Just everything about him is just scumbaggery, what's going on with Hina, regardless of personal circumstances, everything. Just, I do not like Shu. I think he is just a yikes of a person, and well written though. I really do like how he kind of challenges Natsuo to say things and do things that, he normally wouldn't say in certain situations. He is a good, antagonist-like character for at least the story that I'm at right now. So, overall, is Domestic Girlfriend good? As I already said, I actually think the manga is decent. I like it. Like, if I had no idea that apparently it's going to be a bad ending, I would be in shock, because just looking at the quality of the series so far, it's like, is it perfect? No, by no means. Like, the series ain't perfect, but it is very, very well written. It has realistic depictions of characters, etc., reactions, emotions, everything about it. I think that it is a very well done story so far, and I am excited to talk about the next 50 chapters when I read it. Maybe I'll put another video up on this in a few days from now, but I just want to leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you had any form of entertainment and you enjoyed my overall thoughts and reaction and you want to see more of my thoughts on Domestic Girlfriend, then please leave me a like and comment down below. It does help me out a lot. It lets me know if you guys want more of this type of stuff. Well, with that, guys, be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.